Right there, baby. Tom Boley here with Midwest Outdoors. We're chasing big midsummer walleyes up here in northern Wisconsin. I think we got a nice one here. Blowing like crazy, midsummer. It's gonna be a little bit of junk fishing, maybe fishing here, fishing there. This peak summer time frame. It's like a whole bunch of different baits can work, a whole bunch of different spots are in play. So we kind of want to just break it down a little bit for you guys today. I'm gonna see if I can hand land them. I like kind of trying to keep them out of the net a little bit. Come here, big girl. Oh yeah. Just a beautiful walleye right there. We'll let that big girl go. Super nice midsummer walleye right there. Actually saw those fish out over deeper water on the side imaging on the Humminbird. Once we kind of found 3-4 kind of loose schools, they actually popped up on the bow and started running that mega live too. Kind of want to show you guys a little bit about what we're looking at because it's probably a really similar thing that you're going to be seeing on your home lake and kind of how we're finding and catching these fish. They're kind of cruising down some of these bigger spots just off structure. Any big flat just off of kind of the main break. And as we're cruising around here, I'm looking for a lot of stuff that looks just like this right here. Here's kind of a loosely tied together pod of, 6, 7 walleyes right there. And they're actually elevated a little bit. And if you look a little bit further behind them, there's a few more sitting right there. And as we're kind of working these big flats, a lot of these walleyes push out of the weeds, get out on that next secondary structure, and they'll get in these smaller groups, especially these bigger fish of a lot of times 2 to 5 fish. And that's kind of really what we're keying on. And it makes it simple to kind of, when I see something like that, all I'm gonna do is on the Humminbird here, press and hold, I can create that waypoint. Now this is a school of fish, so maybe I'll select the multiple fish icon here, and that makes it super easy when I come back to my GPS here. I'm gonna be able to go right back to exactly where these fish are on this waypoint right here. So it's kind of everything working together. You're not dealing with a ton of fish in one spot, it's picking apart these little pods of 3 to 5. So a lot of times I'm starting on that side imaging actually at the back of the boat, finding those fish, dropping that waypoint, and then I like to spin on them with the Mega Live to put those baits precisely on top of their heads. Right there, baby. Fish on. Oh, we got a bass up in the weed edge. We kind of got a little bit slow over the basin. So we kind of decided to move in here to the weed edge and just see what's going on. And that first pot of fish we saw probably got a nice smallmouth down here. Just camped a slip bobber right on top of that pot of fish. And we got a jumping smallmouth. Going absolutely nuts. The beauty of some of these lakes in the summer is you get some of these fish. Obviously you might have walleyes in some deep water, and then you might transition up to the weed edge and have a mix of walleyes and smallmouth in the mix. And these weed edge bites are just kind of, pretty much on fire on a lot of lakes you're gonna go fish this time of year. There we go. We might be on are we on a pot of bass here, or do we have another walleye? It's running around. It might be a smallmouth. Running this Ultrex up here, it's kind of the ultimate for boat control when you're dealing with heavy wind like this. So much of catching fish anywhere is obviously being able to control your boat. And even in this big wind, whether it's little micro adjustments with the live, or whether it's spot locking and being able to kind of make those repetitive casts, a lot of times kind of the difference between catching a bunch of fish or catching no fish. Come here, buddy. Just want to look at you. Oh. Might be able to flip you on in. There we go. Chubby guy on the slip bobber. You get up here a little bit shallower, a bunch more of these smallies mixed in the mix here. Kind of the beauty about running everything off the bow is obviously I'm pitching a slip bobber right now, so I got this pot of fish out here. I can pinpoint them with the live real easy. The second I set the hook, I just hit spot lock, deal with the fish, come here, catch it, let it go, rebait, come back up, and that pot of fish is still sitting there right where I left it. Right there, baby. Another bass on up in the weeds. Unbelievable. Just sitting here spot locked right on some of these key little sweet spot edges. I think we got another smallmouth. That one was way up high in the water column. Come on, buddy. just kind of rotating through it. Bunch of different summertime baits. Staying spot locked right here. There we go, buddy. Scoop you up quick, scoop you up. There we go. I was on the jig and the crawler, up there in the weeds. Get you popped off. That's kind of the beauty of summertime. You spot lock, kind of do a bunch of side imaging on those little weed edges. Kind of find those 2-3 little sweet spots and just stay spot locked downwind and keep pitching at them. We are hooked up. That's gonna be a nice walleye right there. Tell you what, some of these walleyes are a little bit finicky. Oh, it's a big old pike. Look at that thing. Walleyes are a little bit finicky, man, but some of these spots in the summer, it's walleyes, pike, bass, you name it. A little bit of everything in the mix. Normally you don't see a big old pike jump like that. He ate that whole Shiver minnow down the hatch. Pretty much chewed that one right off, but that's the big pike thing, what they do. He had that bait pretty much all the way down. Another fish on. What do we got? Is it gonna be a walleye, smallmouth, pike? There we go, another nice smallie right there. These things are just all balled up here, man. There's so much bait up in here. Super simple way to fish once you kind of get around them. And I'll just kind of walk through some of those little summertime sweet spots. To piece a whole bunch of fish together. Jig, crawler, slip bobber, none of it's real complicated as far as presentation goes. It's just getting around fish. So if you just want to go out in the summertime and just catch a lot of fish, walleyes, bass, pike, whatever it might be, weed edges are king. Today we got a big wind coming into this weed edge. There's going to be all sorts of different fish here, but how do you really find those? It all starts with my mapping. So looking at the screen here, generally what I do is I set my shallow water highlight out to 10 feet of water. Now a lot of times that shallow water highlight, the weeds will extend past there in some of these clear lakes. So really what I like to do is take my secondary highlight and I'm gonna range this a lot of times from that 10 out to maybe that 15, 16, 17 feet of water. Now maybe the weeds only go out to like 14 or 15 feet or 12 or 13 feet, but what you really wanna look for is those flats just on the outside of the weeds. So looking at the Humminbird here, looking at the Lake Master, the mapping's so good on pretty much anywhere you're gonna fish. It's real easy to pick out these little flats just off of the main weed edge. Those are a lot of times the sweet spots. So once I've found those, real simple to drive through them. I start with side imaging, try to find those pods of fish, look for a lot of bait, look for a spot where there might be a bunch of fish. And then once I'm on my side imaging, seeing something I like, I'll go ahead and drop that waypoint down. Rinse and repeat that whole system. Ultimately from lake to lake, no matter where you're gonna go. And that's gonna put you around a lot of fish in this midsummer time frame. Right there, fish on. Feeling all right too. Oh yeah, we do have a little walleye. Look how this guy ate this thing. He's got it all wrapped up, weed edge fishing. Summertime doesn't have to be a hard time of year to find and catch fish. Kind of do a couple simple things with the Humminbird. Find a lot of those good edges. Run that side imaging, look for pods of fish outside of those, and then a lot of times you can just spot lock and pitch right back to that waypoint where you found them. I'm Boley, and we'll be right back with more from Midwest Outdoors.